saying? If you don't have positive rapport with people, you might as well stay in your house and stay in the closet and stay broke and stay hungry. You understand? You have to build positive rapport. Basically, you have to put your pride in your back pocket. You understand? So I want to give you kudos for your book for, because a lot of people, as you said, you are an extrovert. A lot of people are not. However, that doesn't mean an introvert can't get money. You understand?
Exactly.
They just have to learn themselves, like your book is going to teach them. Learn yourself so you'll know the outlets that you have to walk through to be comfortable. You understand?
Yes.
That's really. I mean, I was just thinking, like, one of the things we talked about, being millennials right now, that's because we're young. But imagine if a millennial starts this now, where will they be 20, 30, 40 years from now? And what will they leave for their children? Like, that's the one thing we talk about on motivational motives all the time, but it's not conversations that are happening among Black people. Like, legacy is so important. And you know what kills me, Jasmine? You were saying that, I don't know, your enthusiasm is important to me. Like, I picked up on that because you made it seem like this is something so easy and so many people just are afraid to do. It's like this money that's sitting right in front of you and all these people are just afraid to just reach out and grab it. And that kills me. Like, I mean, lately, especially like relationships I'm having with my family members or friends, and we've been talking about money, like the importance of money conversations that people aren't having with each other. So like, I'm trying to explain to a relative, like, okay, we need to talk about retirement and life insurance and everything else. Investing in the stock market, investing in yourself, like all the stuff that we need to talk about. And my husband and I are luckily at a point where we're like, okay, yeah, we're having these money conversations now, but it's just so hard to just grab somebody else and tell them the same thing, because when you start telling them, oh, it just sounds like, it just sounds like spiel, it sounds like you're just trying to sell it.
I think I'm the only one in my family that has a Roth IRA. And I keep telling them, why don't y'all have this stuff? Why didn't you tell me to get this stuff? Like, to the point I'm questioning my parents, like, why didn't y'all tell me? This is why we are behind. Why? And then sometimes they get offensive to them. Like, you sit here acting like everything that we provide for you didn't come from this, but we can't keep all of this. How are we going to keep it? I'm grateful for everything that you provided up front, but how are we going to own all of these things? Still in debt, still paying off mortgages. Like, how are we going to, I want us to talk about ownership. Can we own these things? I'm grateful for these things, but it's time for us to start owning them. And that's just where I'm trying to get to. And that's a longer process. So I don't ever want people to think it's easy. I just want people to understand it's simple. The things that we decide to do on a day-to-day basis, if you're going to scroll on social media, at least scroll and tap into somebody who's trying to pour into you and teach you the information. It wasn't until I got into the industry and started building relationships with like-minded people. Did you set your Roth IRA up? Did you go get your business account open yet? Did you get your EIN? I'm like, what is all this stuff? This is a whole nother language that I've never even heard in school. Let's not forget about that. They never taught me about this stuff in school
at all.
And you mean to tell me a $99 monthly fee? You gonna let that jeopardize you from getting around the right people to learn the information that you need to break these generational curses?
I like that phrase, generational curses. I really like, because you know what? So many of us Black people, we are in the midst of a generational curse and we don't even know it. And you know what that means? We are inevitably going to pass it down to our children. Inevitably. And they won't even know it, and so on and so forth. But I think, you brought up a very interesting point about, how, your predecessors might get offended when you bring up these conversations. You know why? Because us Black people, we tend to believe that these conversations are white conversations. And it's a black eye on the culture, man. You know what I mean? We're basically saying that we are used to not having, man. So we, and having an objective of this podcast, and us speaking to a woman of your caliber, is to open the door and pave the way for that 23, 25, 30-year-old to say, you know what? I want money. I want to own my own business. I don't have to go to college and have a $200,000 debt, over my head. You understand? That's not the way. You know what I mean?
Get your inheritance. We sing the songs every Sunday. So why are we not going to go get our inheritance? Why are we not trying to focus on abundance?
Right. Mommy, and think about it. We you two women know, we as Black people, we're the most empathetic people. So we think if we move a little right, from the way mommy and daddy done taught us that we're spitting in their faces. No, we're not. Understand, Black people. Mommy and daddy did pave the way for a lot of things in your life, but you must do some things differently than mommy and daddy did. You have to. You understand? You can't, I call it a societal scale. You can't pigeonhole yourself just because society expects you, just because daddy was a cop. You don't have to be a cop. You understand? Just because mommy, you know, makes her cake at 3 o'clock on Sundays. I want to make my cake at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. You understand? And I want to make it a different way. So, you know, it's basically inventing yourself, which I anticipate the Millennial Invasion book, you know, encourages people to do.
Yes, it does. It teaches them to get unstuck. It teaches them don't let fear stop you. You know, we go over all that. It talk about your circle. Like when you first get in network marketing, those who come out the gate having success, you got to evaluate their circle. Like I tell people, if you really want to know who your true friends and family are, like the ones who you like to spend all your valuable time to, get in network marketing and watch how quickly they run off. Like those who come into this business and they have like quick success, it's because they've been building those healthy, abundant relationships for so many years. Mm-hmm. So, and I feel like that they need to start it in elementary and middle school, because that's where you get the most influence. Like put them in the thing early so they can start weeding out the mindsets that they've been keeping so close to them for so long. I lost a lot of friends.
Really? Okay. But you know what? But it's a good thing.
Yeah, I probably was pregnant. You know, I mean, I don't want to be a single mother, but I probably would have been a lot of those things because I found so much other. I just found so much to focus on in life other than just being laid up and trying to get attention and
nonsense. Things that weren't making you money. You understand?
Not making me money at all.
You know,
keeping me broke. Like, let's go and get a drink. Unless we about to talk about business, I can't. If I can't write this drink off, we gotta be intentional about every single thing that we do.
That's what I'm talking about.
Every single thing that we do, we have to be intentional. Everything. Even when it comes down to shopping, is this shopping not gonna be for me to present in front of a room? If I can't write this outfit off, I don't need to go shopping.
That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like I said, you know, I'm actually a counselor at a university. So my skill set is people. And I knew when I looked into your eyes on that site, I said, it's something about her. And you are proving me right. You're validating that, hey, you know, these millennials need to have this conversation now. I'm 43 years old. I'll be honest with you. I just started having these conversations 3 to 5 years ago. You know what I mean? And I'm not a type of person that looks back and say, hey, damn, I wish I was 30. No, I'm glad I'm having it now. But I'm like, damn, I want to make sure that my daughter, I got an 8 and 3-year-old. I want to make sure they start having these conversations in their teenage years. Straight like that. And if you are around people that are uncomfortable with these conversations, get from around. Straight like that. Don't waste your time.
I love all my friends are older than me, and I love it. I love it. I feel like it's probably why I learned so much more because they are older than me. So
that makes sense. So besides your book, though, how else can people learn from you? Learn from what you got going on? Like, how can they get? Let me see. How can they be a part of your circle?
Look, this Millennial Invasion brand is getting deeper. I tell people they can always just book consultations with me if they want to talk to me. But I have people who pull on me a lot. And right now I'm starting to realize Millennial Invasion is deeper than his book. So I started creating merchandise, right? So on the back of my shirt, it says, I get up. On the back of my shirt, it says, I am, right?
Dope.
I am relentless. I am fearful. I am powerful. I am financially free. I am Jasmine. If people can't get with me through my book, just follow me on the social media sites and believe in the merchandise. You was just talking about, LaQuON, how, you know, I want my kids to understand by middle school, by high school. I thought the same thing too, but I was like, no, if you do your research, they're building jail cells for African-American children specifically, and I will say that, based off of their 3rd grade reading level. So why can I print off a tire to put on the backs of our kids? I tell people all the time, do not purchase my merchandise if you're not gonna say it. Do not put on this hoodie if you're not gonna say I am fearful, I am powerful, I'm resilient. I'm like, they're gonna throw stones at us and we're not gonna break just from the color of our skin. Right. But I can make these kids recite this while they're in school and understand that they are kings and queens, that they are powerful, that they are resilient, then I'm doing my job. I'm even making onesies. I said, if I can make your child say I am as their first word, I've done my job, because I am is a sentence by itself. So people connect with me through so many ways. If they want to just be able to talk with me, do a consultation, because I like to get creative and be like, well, have you ever thought about doing X, Y, and Z for your business? I offer that. I offer consultation calls. I offer calls if people just want to be able to get started to write their book. And right now, I'm just putting out apparel. Right now, I'm really building myself up to where I can give more to my community. But I'm like, if I could just shift the mind, and then I'm also getting into speaking. So I just signed up for an international speaking course, because I'm like, if I can just connect with the world and just transform their mindset through the things that they love to buy. If y'all gonna buy clothes and shoes, at least buy the apparel that's trying to shift your mindset.
Right.
Do your research on the people, on all these big designers. Why so many designers, they check out, they commit suicide. So you mean to tell me you've been buying designer apparel from somebody mindset who wasn't right? You don't even know what's the spirit behind the money you spending on this apparel you can't even write off.
Man, Madam Branford, talk that talk. I'm trying to tell you, man.
I just gotta start clapping. Yes.
Talk that talk. What I like about that quote or that adage that you have on your back is a very important word you have on there. Is the word fearful. And a lot of us Black people, we feel like we have to put on this tough image, and that gets us to the next plateau, when it's the exact opposite. Understand? So me as being an educator, I've realized the things that I was most afraid of were the hurdles that I had to overcome to pave the way to my own success. Meaning the fear that I had actually was my strength.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
For real.
That's the courage.
So let me ask you something. So we usually ask our guests, what is something that what is your piece of encouragement that you would tell, let's say the 14-year-old Jasmine that is thinking that the world is another thing and she needs college and she doesn't know where to go or what to do to become who she's supposed to be in life? What would you tell that 14-year-old Jasmine, if you can speak to her today?
And that there was something that brought you joy on a day-to-day basis. How can we turn that to where you would never ever starve again? What gift do you have right now, Jasmine, that you can utilize to make sure that your family is financially free? Yes, you want to go hang out with your cousins. Yes, you want to go party. Yes, you want to do all of that. Is not going anywhere. You're gonna be able to do all that at 14. You're gonna be able to do all of that at 44. But if you could find a way to retire before 30, Jasmine, what would that be? What would it be? And she probably would have been dancing somewhere, because I grew up dancing, like, in the church and dancing. I always wanted to join the dance teams at school. And she probably would have been finding a way to just dance her little heart out.
Gotcha.
What makes you happy at that? Just excel at that and let him do the rest.
Words of wisdom. Portia, final words, final thoughts, comments, concerns?
How do you follow up with something like that? Jasmine, you are amazing.
Dope.
You are incredible. And I love you. You are, what I love so much about you and what you do is like, you keep it real and you don't have that fear. And it's just like, I want our viewers to watch you and see that it's possible. Like, it's possible. Like, that's the only phrase I can come up with, that it's possible. It's going to be hard. It's going to take some work, and it's going to take resources and people, but it's possible, and you are proof of that. So I just want to thank you for being you and coming on the show and letting us know that it's possible.
It's possible.
Right. Jasmine, you have an illustrious, I can see it, future ahead of you. You understand? So we're gonna, I'm not gonna say needs you to come back on the show, you know what I mean, and talk that talk. You understand? Do we have your word on that?
Yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Thank you, Jasmine. I appreciate you. So you know what? Subscribe, people, share, people, like, people. You understand? We have the links to Jasmine in the description. You know what I mean? Click those links. Purchase that merch. Purchase that book. You know what I mean? Purchase her services. You know what I mean? Purchase her positivity. You dig? For real. Yeah. From Quan John, Portia Mystique, Motivational Motives, Miss Jasmine Branford. 100, y'all. Yep.